Disillusion is a 2021 release by Rig over in the Agora Road Macintosh Cafe forums. It was created in RPG Maker and acts as a sort of sequel to another game I covered called Disillusion ST. While I don't consider this video to be required viewing, I will be referencing back the points made in there at several points throughout this video. While DST seemed to draw its inspirations from LSD Dream Emulator, Disillusion is closer to a Windows 98 maze, which results in this extremely interesting visual palette you see throughout the entire game. It's incredibly interesting, and has a surprising amount of story hidden inside. And so, without any further ado, I wish to invite you to explore Disillusion with me. Very briefly, recall the plot of Disillusion ST. You played as Golem, exploring the Naraka, which was a sort of hell for the people inside, looking for items tied to specific memories. After collecting all of these, you and the Muse of Tragedy accompanying you throughout the game, Melpomene, go to speak with the Bodhi tree, a nod to the tree that Buddha sat under to gain enlightenment. The items you collected were used to create a tower, with the explicit purpose of ending the cycle of samsara. In mysticism, samsara is defined as the cycle of life and rebirth, a wheel of life where every mortal soul found themselves in. The process of escaping the cycle of samsara and reaching true enlightenment is called nirvana, and this is what the tower sought to facilitate. Most of the Naraka chose to reside in this tower, with very few remaining behind. In the moments leading up to the tower's creation, those who wished to enter the tower spoke optimistically about it, seeing Golem and Mel as sort of savior figures. At the end of the game, it's revealed that Golem will remember nothing of his work and will have no memory of his previous life. The game ends with Melpomene saying that she is to repay him at some point with a great sacrifice. Disillusion begins with you waking up in a town. The town has its usual hallmarks. There's a town hall, there's several homes, a wall with a mysterious figure inside of it, and the previously mentioned tower. After gaining armament in the form of a butter knife, you go to the tower. A familiar looking cat greets you and says, "Everyone who comes here climbs the tower. But has anyone even reached the top?" Fighting an enemy, the text reveals that you're still playing as Golem, just as you did in Disillusion ST. Disillusion is fundamentally different from Disillusion ST in how it progresses. While DST was a largely non-linear experience centered around exploration, Disillusion centers around you climbing the tower linearly from floor to floor. Early on in your journey, you meet a familiar face. If you can see me, you're heading on straight. But I suppose that ain't out of the ordinary for someone like you. Who are you? My name is Melpomene. I'm doing a bit of investigating of this here tower. What are you looking for? I'm looking for where everyone keeps disappearing to. I ain't really supposed to be here though. If my sisters found out, that would surely be tragic for me. I was surely not expecting to encounter someone like you. Let's do each other a favor, how about it? Sure. Good. I can't communicate with anyone around here except you, so I'm going to follow you around and listen on your conversations. Sounds like a plan? I know there are some hostile folks around here, but unfortunately I'm not much help on that front since I can't interact with anyone. Sorry, why don't we get going? I wouldn't want to hold you up for too long. Following this interaction, Mel accompanies you for the rest of your ascent, largely acting as a vehicle for the plot and explaining more about the tower as you go up. Towards the end of one of the earlier stages, an interaction with Mel gives you a hint towards Golem's exact fate at the end of Disillusion ST. Oh, you know, I forgot to tell you something, kind of important if we're gonna continue on together. Please don't tell anyone you can see me. That would turn out awful for both of us. What will happen to us? I'll turn into something that ain't me anymore, something that suffers forever. As for you, it's hard to say, but don't risk it. Like I said, you're heading on straight. Me, on the other hand, I'm allowed to live outside the karmic cycle. However, if too many people find out about me, I'll turn into something like you. You don't exactly got the best fate. What is my fate? As I tell you, people like you normally don't stay here long. There is one exception though, but he is long since vanished. I'm a muse, that means I can't reveal secrets like that. Sorry, but it's just how these things go, bucko. There's only 9 of us in existence, and we all got very important jobs. Some of us don't like their jobs very much. Do you like your job? Let's get into that another time. I don't think I should mention it here. Just get going, okay? After another few floors, you stumble upon a portal leading to a bloody hospital room. Inside, there's a eyeless, hairless cat. Mel warns you, careful what you say to this guy. He ain't to be trusted.
You wanna know what it's like when it's all over? It's sorta like Christmas.
When what is over?
I don't even think there is a tree at the top of this tower. At least, that's what the crows told me.
The crows?
Don't ask, don't tell. I'll keep my eye on you. Come speak with me again soon.
What I left unmentioned is that on almost every single floor, there's crows littering the environment. While you can go up and speak with them, they only call at you, and their purpose at this point is not made clear. Golem continues. When you return to Melpomene, she says, "You don't need to worry about leaving me behind. We're closely intertwined, you and I. This adventure surely isn't our first. It is most certainly our last, though. But we don't need to worry about that. Sometimes I wonder if time is a loop, don't you?" Something you may notice while playing is that Disillusion is much more melancholic compared to its prequel. Very few in the tower are able to form coherent sentences, and the few that can see Golem in a very negative light. Even characters who are friendly to him and Mel in DST are harsh and angry towards the pair. Oh, hello, Golem. What happened to Gomi, you may ask? She was ripped apart by hounds, unfortunately. This place is far more dangerous than the Naraka. Do you live free of guilt? I've got nowhere to run, only places to stroll today. How are you today? I'm okay. I'm somewhat unhappy with where we went. I don't understand. Why did you bring us here? I expected better. I expected peace. There's none of that. I stand idle when I'm supposed to climb. What is up there?
Cough cough. Going at you? Hate you. Hate you lots. Got me killed. Friggin' ass.
On a later floor, Mel points to one of the many crows and states, "Let it be known that these guys here are to be treated with the utmost respect. They are not to be messed with. Understand? Why? They just are, okay? These guys have been watching over us since the creation of any sort of free will. You really do not want to get on their bad side." A floor later, she speaks about the hairless cat who we met earlier, and we learn his name is Chi. Something about that Chi guy is bugging me. He looked right at me, as if he could see me. I think he's a little nuts, but more than your regular nuts, you know? For some reason, he can also leave the tower. Usually nobody can do that unless they're avoiding the karmic cycle. How do you avoid karma? Well, it's a bit complicated. Technically, nobody can escape it. Instead, they just try to avoid karma for a really long time. Being a diva is like delaying the inevitable for as long as possible. One day karma will come for them, but most likely not for millions of years. Nobody is immortal after all. All beings, be they man or gods, are born to live and die. Rebirth is especially inevitable for someone like you, Golem. About 1/3 the way up the tower, you encounter the game's first boss, Ryan, and very easily defeat him. You find yourself waking up in the town you began in. A resident tells you that somebody's waiting for you in the town hall. You find Melpomene, and you two continue your ascent. Several floors go as normal, until you meet Hustler, who teaches you the way of grindonomics. As interesting as this fight is, this floor contains a bunch of very significant dialogue. After exploring a bit, you find and speak with Osamu. Recall how in Disillusion ST, Melpomene was responsible for destroying each fantastical world he created, and he hated her for this. But by the end of the game, he grew to trust you and Melpomene, and entered the tower. It seems I was wrong to doubt you fellas. Look at us now, from one man-made hell to another. Nothing changes. Abstractions will be the fall of life, and it will be you at fault. I trusted you. This was the wrong path. Mel speaks with you as you go to exit the floor. Hey, can I ask you something? What's on your mind, Mel? Do you have any guilt? Yes, I'm not the best person. You've got wonderful manners, I will give you that. At least you were honest. I try to be a good person, but sometimes we're forced to do bad things. I guess some things from the past are just bugging me. You asked me about my job before, but I did not want you to think differently of me. I suppose I should just reveal what it is I do as a muse. Have you heard the stories of the 9 muses? Me and my sisters all have jobs maintaining the fates of life. My job is to make sure that life has enough tragedy. Does this make you think of me differently? No, as long as you don't harm me. I'm glad. I try to be a good person despite my job as a muse to balance out all the awful karma I must have gathered. Let's get going. A few floors later, you take a portal to a classroom and meet with Chi again. Chi, what the crows be saying?
Nothing, but you can ask them yourself.
They only call at me.
No, not yet. You need something first. You know what the crows did say yesterday? They were complaining about tiny people in the water supply. Here, take this. Then speak to any crow you see. You'll come see me again, right?
At this point, she hands you a coin, and you return to the stage from which you came from. From this point on, any crow you speak with gives you legible dialogue. Usually they mock you or speak inconsequentially. A floor later, you have another encounter with Mel. I can't help but feel like you'll be disappointed by the end of this. I don't see a very satisfying conclusion to all of this. I've been ready for a long time though, a very long time. I've known this day would come. I'm sorry about all the harm I've caused, regardless of if you remember or not. I would cast my life aside for you, just as you seek to protect what we worked so hard for. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all doom and gloom on you all of a sudden. Get a move on it. In the next stage, you face another boss. After defeating him, you again wake up in the town. You speak with a local in the park. Who are you? You are that fellow that's been making all the strides in the tower, yeah? Yes. Silly one you are. Most don't return if they stay for too long. Why do people not return? There's a woman that comes to town. She once told me that there's a prison on top of the tower. Whether it's a tree or a prison, I don't know, nor do I care, you know? Just be careful, yeah? I'm pretty knowledgeable, you know. Got any questions? You adventurous fellers usually do. I'm only giving you one question though, so make it count. Where do all the crows come from? The crows? There's one feller who I heard has been going in and out of that tower for years. Think his name started with a C? He knows something, probably keeping a lot of secrets. Anyways, why don't you go peek around in the town hall building if you still got questions? You go to the town hall and see Mel has already beat you there. This place does not feel safe to be in. Regardless, I suppose we should look around. Nobody is here, but there's a dark feeling in the air. You should search the area. You search the drawers and find a book. The tower used to be an easy way for those to reach Nirvana. A final pilgrimage. A woman named Mara came to me one day. She asked me, "Why do you all who come here climb?" I told her that she should climb and find out for herself. She then asked me, "Why do you help the people who come here?" I told her I do not remember, but it is my job to put those who stray on the right path, and send those who cannot complete the pilgrimage back to repeat the cycle. Mara would not climb. I'd send her away only for her to return. She would distract me from my work, tempting me with women and power. I ignored Mara, unfazed, so she turned her attention to the tower itself. She entered to never return. I knew she had ill intentions. Of course, I have entered the tower, but I've never actually seen the top of the tower. The only ones allowed to see that area are my crows. I was informed Mara had taken the top of the tower for herself. She constructed a prison, trapping all those who aimed to complete the pilgrimage. Those trapped would never reach Nirvana, nor be reborn. My crows would eventually leave me as well. I constructed this town as a way to keep those who came here from completing the pilgrimage. So long as Mara did not get her hands on these souls, they would be reborn to redo the cycle. I am not sure which fate is worse. Despite my best effort, most who come here climb the tower. They are drawn in by the will and order of this realm. Heed my warning. Do not enter the tower. I left this place in search of other realms. I wish the souls who came here had the same options. A prison? That would explain a lot. Hey look, this little guy is friendly. I think you deserve to know just what exactly I am investigating. It is not something we've really discussed, and I apologize for that. I came here against the will of many to investigate why less and less souls are not going where they belong after this journey. You see, souls come here to be tested. This tower is an afterlife, with those who reach the top escaping the karmic cycle. Those who fail have their egos from their past life fade until it's time to be reborn. Something seems to be keeping you here though. Am I dead? I suppose you could say that. Your old life has ended and you are in the transition to your next. You being here could also have something to do with the rumored prison tampering with the karmic cycle. Otherwise, you probably would have been reborn by now. Why don't we get going? We can talk more about this stuff later. Golem and Mel re-enter the tower. Upon exiting the next level, you're met with an interactive prompt. It's gently misting you. The rain is tickling your face. Head south. Your clothes are heavy. The rain picked up and is pinning you down. Continue. The bridge may be pretty, but the bright lights are keeping the birds awake. Mel speaks with you at the end of the next stage. You don't look like you're doing so well. How are you feeling? All my memories are coming back to me. No, that's not possible, I don't think. It's more likely you're experiencing someone else's memories. Viewing someone's memories is common everywhere in this tower. Coincidentally, I'm also not feeling my best. Perhaps being in the tower for a prolonged period is getting to me as well. Don't worry, let's not dwell on it for too long. Several stages later, you find a portal to this strange bee dimension. The queen bee tasks you with spreading pollen to several flowers, and you oblige. Mel speaks to you as you carry out this task. Being outside the tower is serving as a nice break, but I still feel incredibly weak. The tower has the ability to send any being back to Samsara, as that is one of its purposes. But I certainly did not expect it to get me so quickly. Must be time to get going home soon. You have a home? Each muse was granted their own personal garden. It keeps us alive, even longer than divas. If I return there, I'll start to feel more like myself again. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. You complete your task and return to the tower. We are getting close to the top now. What will we find? I was always warned something like this could happen, yet I did not listen. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice. I wonder if I'm loved or just used. I wonder if I'll see you again after this. I doubt it. Regardless, I will protect what I worked so hard for. And as always, loneliness is a power we have to give or take away. You clear the stage and access another memory. It smells like decay. Something is emerging from the forest. Why? My Purusha, defiled like yours. How many incarnations must we suffer through? Allow me to forget. Allow me to be free of this mental illness. Is it truly hopeless for our kind to hope for nirvana? We are cursed to decay within the walls of samsara until the shores of Purusha run dry. There is no hope for either of us, with each incarnation's only serving to drive us further into madness. In the next stage, you have another encounter with Chi.
Hello again. Have you had your holiday yet? Well, go find it. Maybe even ask the crows.
Who is the crow deity Akpatadia?
Where did you learn this name? I warn you. Stay away from anything regarding knowledge of that. Please, for all our sakes. I gave you my eyes, yet this is how you repay me.
The next stage contains a portal to a graveyard. Unassuming at first, after a bit of prodding around, you find a grave that teleports you when you interact with it.
Then how did you find this location? No matter, you seek information, no doubt.
What is this place?
This is the entrance to the Bulbulia, the maze of knowledge, and home to our Lord Gainsha. Would you like to learn more about the Bulbulia?
Yes.
The Bulbulea was constructed to hold the writings of Lord Ganesha, these writings being older than the karmic cycle itself. Ganesha was the first being created by the Creator, and thus, since kept records of the known universe. Whatever knowledge you may seek more than likely can be found within. Be aware that the Bulbulea is a massive sprawling maze.
Entering the
Bulbulea,
you find exactly what was described. There's different colors of portals. Some of these will teleport you back to the library where you came from, some bring you to secret stages, and a few are books that you can read, which shed light on Disillusion's world. We will be revisiting these later. You continue to the next stage and encounter another memory. You've entered a memory. You can feel how moist the air is. Go forward. The wind blew. Drops of dew on the tree, leaves fall on you. Forward. You've never been here before, but it feels like you have many times. Left. It smells like burning flesh. You meet a peculiar crow in the next stage.
Am I in your way?
Who is the crow god Akpatadia?
Really? You have the gall to ask us directly. We will take you to him.
The next stage is an empty expanse filled with crows. They speak of a shepherd. You go to speak with the odd-looking one.
Why are you here? Do you know what I am? We only decided to indulge in this request due to you being the next shepherd. What questions do you have?
What is a shepherd?
There has only been one shepherd. However, he has left that job since Mara has become what she is. The shepherd's job is to make sure all souls climb the tower. The shepherd must be someone who has a separation of functions between personality, thinking, memory, and perception. A curse created by the muse of tragedy.
Why am I a shepherd?
I am not sure. The crows have decided this. They like to make sure things stay on some sort of linear path. I do not, however, think that patch matters, as it would seem Mara wishes to create a new path.
She seems rather scared of you. Why?
Afraid of being cast back into the karmic cycle, maybe. I would not do this. I am not one to concern myself with these things. I just like to watch the flow of the things I have made. I think it is time you go. I wish you good luck. We will meet again.
You ended up learning more than I ever thought you would. Who knew you could just ask? You should talk to Chi about this if we see him again. Upon completion of the stage, you access another memory. You enter a memory. The city is still. You are wandering aimlessly. Proceed down the road. A thought crossed your mind. You cannot go home. Continue forward. There is no coming back out of that tunnel if you go in. As you pass through the tunnel, you feel as if you can never turn around ever again. As you step out into the moonlight, a group of crows begin to roost on the tree near you. The crows all begin to speak at you at once in unison.
Who is a froth of attraction, aversion, and delusion? Which voice would you rather hear? Pick which speaks to you the most, as it will be important to your job after this life.
Pride.
Take pride in your quest, for after this life you will be rid of your intrusive thoughts. In return for this favor, you will become the shepherd of our tower. Continue onward, this night will be your last in this plane.
As you continue your walk, the voices in your head get louder. Duck into the forest. A small wall is in your way. Climb it. There's a horse here, tucked away in the brush. It feels like he's been waiting for you. This was the last of Disillusion's floors. Mel speaks with you right before the exit. I can't go on. I'm so sleepy. Mara is right ahead. I'll catch up to you. I promise. She's fallen asleep. You must continue alone now. Welcome to my sixth heaven, the realm of desire. I already know of your desire, Golem. You've always wished for the separation of your functions between personality, thinking, memory, and perception to once again be joined together as one, just like the towered shepherd before you. Come see me, Golem. The Bodhi tree lies before you, surrounded by a small prison. Thee with the uncontrollable personality, thinking, memory, and perception. Do you not realize that you can never reach Nirvana? Why did you come here to bother me? You are no different from any other shepherd. I offer you a chance. You will leave me. I will cure you just as divas have always done when creating a new shepherd. You, my friend, were given an unfair chance by the natural law of dependent origination, and nothing you do here will matter, as your illness causes you to live outside of karma. Despite being cured, you can never reach Nirvana. It would be futile to even try. I live here outside of samsara. With the power of a diva, all your desires will be at your fingertips. I will lift you up into a perfect body. At this point, you're given two choices. 1. Accept Mara's proposal, or 2. Reject it. Ending 1 triggers when you accept it. With Mara's reason, and the last shepherd's accepting this, energy is no longer free-flowing. The cliches of man being the spearhead to break the cycle and create a new world under one creator. The Bodhi tree is no more, and the tower has collapsed into a swamp. Mara's prison becoming the very algae that flows through the soup. You will be my son. Judge the living and the dead before and after their bodily resurrection. Be the prophet of my new world. Karma is now in our hands. We are now the creators, not fate. Ending 2 triggers when you decline the proposal. Upon doing so, you're put into a fight with Mara. When you defeat her, an alternative ending plays. With the downfall of Ascended Mara, threads of dependent origination have been restored. You feel a warmth fall over you, a gratitude of millions of souls barely satisfied. They all watch one being cry. You awaken next to a grazing horse. As you walk through the forest, you see the sun begin to rise. Spare for these 2 conventional endings, there does also exist a 3rd ending. This occurs if you find and speak with Chi on the final stage.
It's you. Can you feel it? A new dawn is coming. Are you truly going to meddle? What reason do you have for intervention? For me and you it will not matter regardless.
I've spoken with the Crow deity.
So you sought him out, despite my warnings. This is good, you have passed my test. I gave you that coin in an effort to encourage you to learn more. You are worthy of being the next shepherd, no doubt. However, there are other options.
What are my options?
No doubt Mara will try to persuade you. However, me and you can be freed from our curse. We do not need to be driven mad by endless existence. If you kill the muse of tragedy, souls like me and you will be allowed to reach Nirvana. A harsh truth, but this is the path to absolute freedom.
I understand how you must be feeling. Let's talk about things somewhere else.
I trust you will make the right choice. Free us both. Please. I am so tired.
Mel, I created a burden on you. I locked you into a never-ending karmic cycle with no hope of freedom. A soul with your illness has no hope of nirvana. Unless I die. Promise me one thing, okay? You will stop Mara, right? If I'm going to die, I want to make sure you at least promise me that. I'm willing to give my life so that you may finally be free. I don't want you to die, Mel. I've existed so long, I've never even considered the thought of dying. Do you remember any of your past lives, Golem? No. That is a shame. One thing is certain, I won't be reaching Nirvana. This means we have a chance of meeting again, Golem. Maybe one day I may even remember you, once again in the next life. Thank you for the short time we spent together. The flowers are blooming. She meets you at the exit of the garden.
We are free at last. Do what you will with this newfound freedom. Strive for nirvana, or return to samsara to experience an existence untouched by the burden of insanity.
At this point, you go and defeat Mara, and the usual dialogue plays before the fight. You choose to reject her proposal. You defeat Mara and get one final cutscene. With the downfall of Ascended Mara, threads of dependent origination have been restored. You feel the warmth fall over you, a gratitude of millions of souls barely satisfied. You awaken next to a grazing horse. As you walk through the forest, you see the sun begin to rise. The sky is filled with blinding lights. The Bodhi tree is welcoming you at last. Sit under the tree? Yes. Understanding Disillusion hinges on understanding 4 core story elements: Golem, the Tower, Melpomene, and Mara. We'll begin with Mara, as she's probably the most important aspect at play here, but is also the least explained. In the game itself, Mara is rarely mentioned until the ending, only being mentioned in passing. The first mention of her you're likely to come across is the book you find after defeating the second boss. This text is significant as it answers the question Mel is asking in the first place. Why can't people reach the top of the tower anymore? This book is the only one you'll find on a normal playthrough, and is likely as much as the average player is going to get in exposition in regards to Mara. But recall the library we discussed earlier in this video. Inside of it are 20 books, all giving additional information on the world of Disillusion. Several books mention Mara in particular. An excerpt from one reveals an interesting bit of information. Quote, Mara may have gotten all the muse to help her. However, there was one muse who would be sought out by... Melpomene was taken under the wing of... in need of help. To aid humans back on the path of enlightenment, it was decided the world would need more tragedy. Suffering always pushed beings towards a new means to an end. The world was already strife with natural suffering, and so a new method would be adapted to act as a small push, however cruel it may have been. Melpomene was instructed to create new forms of mental illness, hoping these would influence the thinkers of the world, as by this time, the human race was much less spiritually attuned in their physical bodies. It was much harder for a diva to speak to a human, more or less than impossible. This indirect approach was the answer. More humans had begun to reach enlightenment. However, many souls upon learning of Melpomene and her influence deemed her a devil rather than a savior. There was one illness created that would work to Mara's advantage. An illness that... What this specified illness exactly is isn't made clear at this point. However, for now, let's shift our focus to the tower itself. The tower's express purpose was allowing those who climb through all of its levels to reach Nirvana, and facilitate the reincarnation of those unable to reach the top. This was the purpose for its creation, as described in Disillusion ST. However, something is very clearly wrong with this in practice. As you continue your climb, you'd speak with many people in the tower. Most of the tower's denizens speak complete nonsense, as if they're completely unsure of themselves or their surroundings. It's clear that they are not sane. At one point in the game, this is actually elaborated on. Most people in this tower speak nonsense. Want to know why? Yes. Well, the longer you spend here, the more one usually goes insane. There is a reason for this though. People are not supposed to be here for long. You must complete your journey or you will return to samsara. The souls who have been here for too long go mad as they lose their old egos. They begin to babble disjointed memories. These memories could be from any past life. This won't happen to you though. You are already ill, it would seem. Maybe you'll be reborn soon? Recall the book we had just read. It illustrates that Mel, at one point, had created some sort of illness, and what it actually does to people is starting to be better illustrated. Melpomene is a very multifaceted character. Being the muse of tragedy, she's responsible for the suffering inflicted on millions. War, disease, famine, and death can all be attributed to her. But a book detailing the 9 muses speaks on Mel as follows. Melpomene, the muse of chorus originally. Later, she would become the muse of tragedy. It is not known who requested tragedy be thrown upon the humans, but it served as a method of keeping the humans within samsara. It is unknown what she does today. This book implicitly suggests that Mel didn't want to be the muse of tragedy, and this is supported by the way she talks in the game. She expresses at several points that she's extremely guilty of her work, and actively works to try and make good karma for herself. Her death can possibly be seen as the ultimate right to all of her wrongs. Disillusion ST's bad ending demonstrates that the death of Melpomene resulted in an end of aberrant tragedy. While reading through the books, there's another one that includes a photo of Mel. Schizophrenia, classified as the separation of functions between personality, thinking, memory, and perception, continuing relapsing episodes of psychosis. Major symptoms include hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thinking. Other symptoms include social withdrawal, decreased emotional expression, and apathy. Why would Mel have a photo of herself on a listing detailing schizophrenia? Let's sidestep this for a moment and discuss her final pillar, Golem. Golem is dead, and I don't mean that figuratively, I mean he literally is dead. This is stated to you explicitly through a binary phrase given to you in one of the portaled floors. You died October 22nd, 1998. Mel at one point says that the memories that Golem access are not his own, but I believe this to be untrue. I say this particularly because the final one you access has crow speak, and they tell the point of view that their next job would be shepherding the afterlife, just as it was for Golem. Another reason is this text from one of the memories. I point this one out specifically because of the mention of a defiled Purusha. When you kill Mel, you get an achievement named Rekindled Purusha. It's my belief that the memories accessed by Golem is him recounting his last day on Earth. It's referenced throughout several points in the story that Golem has some sort of affliction, and this makes him live outside of the karmic cycle. This means he can never truly reach nirvana in the state he finds himself in. Unless, of course, he somehow found his way out of his illness. A disease that makes it so you can't achieve true self-realization. A muse of tragedy who follows you around and can only be seen by you and Chi, someone who also suffers from a similar ailment to you. A suspicious book with a photo of her detailing the symptoms of schizophrenia. I don't know if I have to say this explicitly, but it's made very clear that Golem is suffering from schizophrenia. And the only way for him to save himself from this was killing Mel. I believe the ending in which this happens is the canon ending. And so we will be focusing discussion on that. At the end of the game, only after ridding himself of illness is he able to sit under the Bodhi tree. In Buddhism, the Bodhi tree has significance in that it's the tree that Buddha sat under and gained spiritual enlightenment. This is the only ending in which this is possible. If you take Mara's proposal, the tree dies, and if you kill Mara without killing Mel, Golem is unable to sit under the tree and reach nirvana. You don't need to worry about leaving me behind. We are closely intertwined, you and I. This adventure surely isn't our first. It is most certainly our last, though. I absolutely adore this game. I think its narrative is super compelling, and the tower itself is absolutely packed with interesting characters. There's dozens of interactions that have stuck in my head after. But one thing I noticed while playing is just how sad everything is. I don't know if this is a me thing or if it's universal, but certain stages' aesthetics, along with their music, just felt incredibly melancholic to me. and this isn't helped by the story itself being a little tragic in its own right. I can't really tell if Mel's ending is good or not. She's essentially made to re-enter the karmic cycle, and this potentially has terrible implications for her, given how much bad karma she racked up. But on the other hand, this is her being completely freed from her title of Muse of Tragedy. And so, in some sense, it's a good end for her. This game is both shorter and much more streamlined than Disillusion ST. It's linear in that you always know where to go, up, and I was able to get all the achievements in 8 hours of play, and that's including a failed playthrough where I soft-locked myself. I don't really play games with turn-based combat, so I don't feel super qualified to comment on whether the combat in this game is good or not, but it felt like some of these fights took you a really long time, which sort of takes you out of the explorative mood you were in prior to the fight. In short, I can easily recommend Disillusion. While I may have gone over the main story beats, I think the most enjoyment comes from exploring the tower yourself and interacting with its denizens. It's only $3 and it goes to helping the developer. Speaking of which, the dev currently has a third game in the works. It's a third-person platformer called Lifeseeker, and you can already see some characters from the previous 2 games. Development still seems to be pretty early on, but I'm optimistic to see how it turns out. If you're curious to see how its development goes, I've linked the developer's YouTube channel in the description. Thank you for watching. It's at this point where I must thank our, as of now, only channel member, Coburns, a longtime personal friend and also a friend of the channel. For $2 a month, channel members receive a neat little badge next to their name in the comment section, a thank you at the end of each video, exclusive commentary for each video I put out, and a role in the Discord server. Speaking of the Discord server, I encourage you to join if you haven't already. There's almost 40 very kind people all willing to chit-chat with you about obscure games, not so obscure games, hobbies, and other assorted things. If you made it this far, it's clear that you don't mind the videos I put out. If this is the case, I recommend you hit those buttons that every YouTuber tells you to press, and also leave a comment telling me what you thought about Disillusion or even this video itself. Thank you for watching.